Hello, I'm Precious Swain Peaks, owner of Anointed for Prosperity Bookkeeping and more. And today we're going to talk about the SBA's 7A loan. Now, in this discussion, there will be no tips, tricks, fugazi. We're going to walk through the process directly on the SBA site so that you understand what's available, what's required, and what is not. If you're taking notes, I'd like to point out that we are on sba.gov/funding programs loans 7a loans so that you can get back to it if you need to. Just in case I'm a little low, I'm going to adjust my volume. Okay, hopefully that helps a little. So as we see, that it is one of the most common loans for businesses with special requirements. Well, what are those special requirements? Let's take a walkthrough. Specifically, what is a 7A loan? Other than being the most common, including financial help for businesses with special requirements, it is considered the best option when real estate is part of a business purchase. But it can also be used for short term and long term working capital, refinancing business debt, and purchasing furniture, fixtures, and supplies. So you may be saying, well, what do they mean when real estate is part of the business purchase? Some people go into strip malls, etc., and they rent or lease an office, where other people have a larger scale business which needs a space all of its own, and they go and they buy, kind of the same way you would buy a house, land and home. They go and they buy land and building. Some set it up where it's a multi office space, some set it up where it's just a storefront, but there is property, real estate involved, normally, if it's a 7A loan involved. The maximum amount of a 7A is $5 million. Key eligibility factors are kind of based on the business and what it does. What kind of income does it get? How does it make money? Does it have business credit? What's the credit history of the signer for this loan? Where is the business? Is it somewhere where a lot of funding is needed? And the lenders that you go through will help you with the independent needs of your business. So the next section, not based on my opinion, but strictly from the SBA, am I eligible? To be eligible, the business must operate for profit. Nonprofits are not eligible for 7A loans. The business could not be operating at a loss. If you go to pull your taxes for proof and you have been operating at a loss for 3, 4, 2 a year, you're not going to qualify until you get to the point where you're operating at a profit. So you may be saying, well, why do I need a profit? You need a profit so you can pay back the loan. You must be considered a small business by the SBA. Well, what is a small business? Let's see. Only takes us a second. Let's see what a small business is by SBA standpoint. What does the SBA consider a small business? To be considered a small business by the SBA, be for profit, be independently owned with no parent company, not be nationally dominant in your field, physically located and operated in the U.S. It does not necessarily have to be an LLC, a S Corp, or anything of that nature, but it needs to be technically small. Small businesses doing business. Take a look at this. It is the SBA.gov/blog. Does your small business qualify? The size of your business may be relative, but there are other standards to meet. The small business is defined either in terms of the average number of employees over the past 12 months or average annual receipts over the past 3 years. They will also look at your NAICS number or your NAICS code. Are you organized for profit? Are you in the U.S.? Do you primarily work in the U.S.? Are you independently owned and operated? And is not a dominant in its field on a national basis. Okay, so there's where you can find more information on the SBA regarding the size criteria to be determined a small business. You must be engaged in or propose to do business in the U.S. This loan is not eligible for out of country businesses. The U.S. or its possessions. We know that the U.S. has the U.S. Virgin Islands, it has Puerto Rico, and a few other places determined as its possessions. So the business can be in those areas, but not outside of the U.S. territories. Do you have reasonable invested equity? Do you use alternative financial resources, including personal assets, before seeking assistance? So, did you go in your own personal account? Did you use part of your paycheck? How did you start your business, and where does your investment capital come from? You have to be able to demonstrate a need for the loan. A true need. Do you need this to keep your business going? Do you need some more employees? Do you need to move into a larger location, a smaller location? What do you need it? Can you demonstrate that you need it? Use the funds for a sound business purpose. So, before we go on to anything else about what you need to apply or anything, let's have a common sense moment. Common sense moment says if they need you to use the funds for a sound business purpose, then that means in the determining factor, they may need to know what that sound business purpose is. This is where having a business plan and a marketing plan with your 12-month, 3-year, and 5-year projections comes in handy. This is something that should be available at all times if you are looking for funding. And you cannot be delinquent on any existing debt to the U.S. government. What is a debt to the U.S. government? A debt to the U.S. government, of course, is income taxes or business taxes. You can't owe on your taxes. You cannot owe on another SBA loan. You cannot owe anything already to the U.S. government. And it says some businesses may not qualify for a 7A, which we already see from reading this. There are a lot of businesses that just aren't qualified for this particular loan. But in the next few episodes, we will discuss a variety of SBA loans because there is a little something for everyone. So you want to know, how do I use the loan? Basic uses for the loan include long and short working capital, revolving funds based on the value of existing inventory, purchase of equipment, machinery, furniture, fixtures, supplies, or materials, the purchase of real estate, including land and buildings, construction of a new building or the renovation of an existing building, establishing a new business or as assisting in the acquisition, operation, or expansion of an existing business, refinancing existing business debt under certain conditions. So you're going to want to think it out. Is the 7A for me? Should I be applying for something else? Am I trying to do any of this? Am I trying to do all of this? Make sure that you're making appropriate business decisions when you're working towards getting a loan. You don't want to just get a loan because it's all over Facebook or it's all over Twitter. That doesn't necessarily means it's for you. Just because one person got approved doesn't mean that you're going to get approved. So make sure before you hop on one of these, send me $500, I'm going to get you this loan guaranteed, that you have everything that you need to make that possible. Because loans are not guaranteed. We can put in your application, we can do anything to try to assist you, but if you do not have the things you need, all the work that we've done means nothing because you're not going to get the loan. Be very careful of people who guarantee you the loan, because what are they doing to bypass the process? Will it result in a fraud charge later? Because we want to make sure that the business we got the loan for to build, that we're free to work the business. So be very, very careful for loan related fraud or grant related fraud, because it's happening everywhere. What do I need to apply? So, what do you need to apply? Even if you don't plan on doing this yourself, even if you plan on paying your accountant, your business consultant, your business manager, your person who does your taxes, a private firm to do this loan application for you. These are the things that you need to provide them if they don't already have them so that they can get you the loan. So let's take a look. You're going to need all your borrower information, which of course we would know that. And it's going to be completed on a Form 1919. This this is a Form 1919. And even though I already have all of these things downloaded, I'm walking through the process so that you know where to look to find the things that you need. So on the Form 1919, it is telling you that it can be a sole proprietor. So don't get duped into starting a corporation, an LLC, or anything else because someone says you need that for this loan. You can be a sole proprietor. You can be a partnership. You can be a corporation. You can be a limited liability. To sign this document, it could be any of these people or any person hired to manage the day-to-day operations, any truster, and any person having equity interests. This is the initial form and information needed to be given to the lender. Business name, legal business name, operating legal business name, normally one and the same. A DBA or a trade name. If you have a long name like we do, Anointed for Prosperity, Bookkeeping and More, that would be our legal name. But what is our trade name? Plain old Anointed for Prosperity. It's going to ask you, is the applicant a corporative, a ESOP? Do they have 401k plans, a trust? What's going on? What kind of account? Do you plan to use a 401k plan for your business startup, for equity? Are you? Do you currently have a job and you've been putting into your 401k so that you can launch your business? They want to know because remember, they want to know where your investment capital is coming from. Will a management company be hired to manage the day to day operations? In a lot of cases, people do hire an outside source to maintain their operations to make sure that they flow fluently. But some people don't. Some people hire mom. Whatever it is, this is what they want to know. Your primary business address. This is not going to be a P.O. box. This is going to be a physical address. Your EIN number is your business tax ID. If you are a sole proprietor without an EIN, your social security number is going to be your business tax ID and your primary business phone number. So the number that people call you on for business. If it's your cell number, put your cell number. If you have an additional cell for business, put it there. Whatever you do, remember, once you've put this number all over the place, you need to be a little more professional when you answer your calls. It just may be the SBA. If you're going to open the business at a different location, if you have a second location, if you have an additional address for your business, it's going to go here. Because sometimes you have a location and you're looking for funding so you can do an additional project. The primary contact name and the email address in which to reach them. How much are you asking for? How many employees do you have, including the owners? Owners that are operating your own business, that are getting in there and baking the pies and baking the cookies and making the candles and pressing the shirts, and the list goes on and on. In this area, you're included one of your employees, so add yourself to the number. How many jobs will be created as the result of this loan? Are you getting the loan so you can add one person, 10 people? It's okay if you're adding no people, but they want to know here how this loan is going to impact bringing jobs to the community. Number of jobs that will be retained as a result of this loan that may have been lost. So you may need the loan because you've had 10 employees, but things have happened and you can't afford to pay all of them. How many of them will you be able to now keep because you got this loan? Needs to go here. And now here's the breakdown. They want to know the purpose of your loan. So how much of it do you need for the land or the building? How much of it do you need for the payroll? How much of it do you need for supplies? How much of it do you need for inventory? Equipment. This is what they need to know in this space. And this should come directly from your business plan. You don't have to look for it. The person doesn't have to look for it. None of this has to happen, but you need to have it. If financial statements provided to the lender do not include a schedule of debt, please attach one. So you need to attach your financial statements and you need to attach your schedule of business debt. How much of it do you own? They want to know if you got partners, if it's just you, do you own 50? Do you own 20? Do you own 100%? What is the social security number of the owners? And they want to know still, does each of these people have one of these type of accounts? We're going to come on down a little more. Still more questions. Still pretty basic. Are there co-applicants? They should be in that space above. If they're not, take a few steps back and fill them in. If it's too many for that space, put them on a separate sheet to attach to this 1919. Has an applicant for the requested loan ever been submitted to the SBA, a lender, or a certified development company in connection with any other SBA programs? That way they can look and see how you did with that one. Did you pay it back? Did you not pay it back? Are you delinquent? Is it in default? What is the situation? Has the applicant or its affiliates ever obtained or applied for a direct or guaranteed loan from the SBA or any other federal entity? So you have the USDA, you have BNI, you have FSA, EDA, HUD, the list goes on and on. So make sure that you check the list once or twice. Make sure you've had no loans from any of them. And if you do, that you just simply say you did. Is any of the financing currently delinquent? Have you been late? Did the pandemic make it where you couldn't pay your payments? This is where they're going to want to know that. Are you suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, or voluntarily excluded from participation in any federal department or agency? Does the applicant business operate under a franchise license? Are you a McDonald's? Are you a Burger King? Are you a Tires Plus? Are you a distributor? Are you a dealer? Are you a jobber? If you are any of the above, you must attach your agreement to this document, franchise agreement, distribution agreement, whatever you have, to this application. Does the applicant have any affiliates? If yes, you're going to want to list all of your affiliates. If you are unsure what an affiliate is according to the SBA, simply click the link. Has the applicant or its affiliates filed bankruptcy? Have you filed for bankruptcy? Are you presently involved in a pending legal action? Are any of the applicant's products and services exported? Is there a plan to begin exporting as a result of this loan? Or is this an export working capital program loan? If it's yes to any of the above, guess what you're going to do? You're going to attach your documentation. It's needed to determine. And a quick side note, a lot of times we wonder why Jody got his loan in 48 hours, but Sam got his loan in 8 weeks. 97% of the time, Jody supplied all of the information needed at the time of his application, while Sam sent through the application. Then, when they said, hey, I need this, sent through one thing and then sent through the next thing. And because of the procrastination and the unorganization, it took longer, if ever, to get the money. So, first things first, before we send in the application, we want to have all of our paperwork together. Okay. So they're asking the estimated total of export sales this loan will support. If you're doing export, you're going to put in how that's going to impact it. They want to know the countries that you're exporting to. You're going to want to list this in this area. Have you committed to pay a fee to the lender or a third party to assist with the application? It's not illegal. They just want to know if it's you or if it's somebody else filling out the application to ensure that the correct information is involved and that they know who to speak to about the application. Are any of the applicant's revenue from loan packaging, gambling, pornographic material? If yes, they want to know the breakdown because they're not in high support of financing businesses that have child pornography or things of that nature. So they want to be able to take a look and see what's going on to see if the business in question is something that they can apply financing to. Scroll down a little more. We're going to say the SBA may not provide financial assistance to an applicant where there's an appearance of conflict of interest. Are you trying to do exactly what they're doing? They're not going to support that. Who's giving loans to their competition? Nobody. So make sure that you've thought all this through before you've even gone into the application process. We're going to go a little farther and they're still asking the same thing. Sole proprietor, partner, officer, director, shareholder with 10% or more interest. Is any of your household members an SBA employee? Important question to make sure that you're not gaining favoritism. Is any employee, owner, attorney, agent, stockholder, director a former SBA employee? Is anybody a member of Congress or in the judicial branch of the federal government? They need to know. So they can't be accused of favoritism and unfair application processing. And is anyone a part of the SBA advisory council or score? So it's little things that they want to know. Now, it's for real a pretty long application, but pretty basic. If everything is true, we're going to sign that everything is true. In this situation, they're asking, is it made with American equipment and supplies? They want you to really highly consider that. It's encouraged if you're using America's money. They want to know all of this information. It's voluntary, and so you don't have to fill it out, but they want to know. So you're going to go through, and for each area, you're going to put in the appropriate information and you're going to sign. You're going to gather up your information that needs to be added to it, and you're going to slip it in a paper clip, upload it, whatever you're doing to make sure that it is all together. We're going to come out of that 1919 for a second. We're going to come back over to the process. Somewhere in the process we closed the process, but we're just going to go right back because as you see, all these different sites have the information, but we want to get it. I want to give it to you directly from the SBA because guess who's cutting the check? They are. So you now see what you needed for your 1919. But you're still expected to fill out a 912 and a 413. As you see, your 912 is your statement of personal history. Your 413 is personal financial history. We're going to take a quick look at the 912. And it just really wants to know your personal history. And as we go through, you see it's just that simple. We're going to hop back over here and we're going to take a quick look at your 413. Your 413 gives you a quick breakdown of what they're going to look for and what is going to be needed. We're going to hop back over really quickly. We're going to take a quick look. So you see you're going to need your borrower information, your background and financial information, your business financial information that consists of your profit and loss statement within the last 180 days. Also, supplementary schedules from the last 3 fiscal years. You're going to need your projected financial statements, 1 year projection, and explain how you plan to reach this projection. Ownership and affiliations, business license and certificate, loan application history. How many loans have you applied for in the past? Your income tax returns, both personal and business, for the last 3 years. Not 1 or 2, always 3. They always will ask you for 3. And even though you send them to them, they're going to send you a form to sign so that they can request the information directly from the IRS. Your resume for each principal, each person on this loan responsible to help pay back this loan, they want their resume. What do they do that qualifies them? What education do they have that qualifies them to do whatever it is they're trying to do in which to get this loan? It's going to ask your business overview in history, and it wants to see your lease. The lease can be an actual lease, a note from your landlord, or the terms of the proposed lease. But make sure you have all of this in advance. If you're buying an existing business with this loan, they're going to want to see the existing business's current balance sheet and profit and loss statement, their last 3 years of income tax, the proposed bill of sale, including the terms of the sale, the asking price, the inventory, machinery, equipment, furniture, and fixtures. If it is a franchise, jobber, or licensing, the agreements for it, and proof of equity injection. Most important question is, how do I pay it back? Most of them are repaid by monthly payments. Of course, they have principal and interest like everything else. Payments stay fixed. Instant rate remains constant. But for variable loans, the lender can require a different payment when the interest rate changes. So you want to go for the option with fixed loan payments. Now that we have walked through the basics of a 7A, you may feel comfortable doing it yourself. Have at it. Make it easy on yourself, a little cheaper, and do it. But if you don't, if you actually need help, no matter what company you reach out to, make sure that they are following what you know they're supposed to follow. Because now you're not going about this blindly any longer. Now you know what you need to apply for the 7A. Make sure that they have the things that you need to make it an easier transition. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I am Precious Wayne Peaks, owner of Anointed for Prosperity Bookkeeping and More. And yes, we do the 7A loan for our customers. If you're interested or just want to have a quick consult, you can visit www.anointedforprosperity.com and schedule a free consult, and we will discuss the process for you. Shoot us an email at info@anointedforprosperity or send us a quick text message at 352-437-6675. I hope this helped. Have an amazing day.